Welcome to the Cookie Life Network, where we're whisking it all. I'm Beth.
And I'm Alison. And don't forget, you can keep up with everything that's going on in the cookie community when you follow us on Instagram. Today, we are not doing a best of the zest because we are bringing you a Baker's Dozen edition of our.
Woo! We're going to give you 13 tips, tricks, and trends of what's going on today in the cookie world. Okay, guys, so we're going to give you the 4 tricks first, okay? First up, I want to this is not, I mean, obviously this airbrush is not a trick, but this cordless air genie, y'all, I I don't do a lot of airbrushing, but you don't know you need a cordless one until you actually get it. And you're like,
I
because
don't
it
have a
just,
cordless one.
oh my gosh, you just didn't even know you needed it until you get it. You're like, I'm going to airbrush everything now, right? But here's my trick. Here's my trick. So no matter what air mist color I use or whatever airbrush color I use in here, I always add a 1 drop of white. And then I plug up the hole on the front end. And
So, okay,
I
I'm going to
pull
ask a
back the
stupid
trigger.
question. Hang on, hang
Okay.
on, hang on. I'm going to
Okay.
ask a stupid question. How
Okay.
does it work if it's cordless? Is it battery powder powered? Like, there's no compressor. How does that work?
There is. It's in here, and you see this right here. So you have, I mean, you charge it,
Okay.
and then it runs. But y'all, I mean, the battery life on this thing, and I don't know if you can hear. Our mics are so good at
Our
noise
mics are
cancel.
too good.
Our mics are so good at noise cancellation, like you can't hear it. Okay, so but when I turn it on and I have the drop in there with whatever colors in there, I plug up the end and I pull back the trigger just a tiny bit and let it bubble together, like, brr, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah. And for whatever reason, it has always helped me with bleeding, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It doesn't make it lighter. I mean, if you put a bunch in there, it will, but 1 drop of white just it helps. And that is
Now,
my
does it make the
trick
color
number one.
more opaque? Like, does
Not
it make it?
really.
No?
No, not really. It doesn't. I'm telling you, you need to try it. And you need to try it in your new airless air genie.
I think I
Cordless,
need
not
that.
airless. Yeah, the airless airbrush. It's really it's gonna hit the market and it's gonna be
That's why I'm so
phenomenal.
confused. I'm like, where's the compressor? There's no air coming
There is. It's right. I have it on now. I know you can't hear it,
through.
but it's on. And it's a great purchase. Like I said, I wasn't a huge airbrusher to begin with,
Mhm.
but like the whole like underspray and all that bless and the bleeding and the adding white just helps. It does.
Really?
So
Hmm.
trick number 1
Now,
done.
okay, another stupid question. Sorry. Because can you tell
No,
I
you're
didn't do
good.
this trick? See, I'm learning with you guys. I'm learning with you.
Right? Same, same.
So, are you putting white airbrush color or gel
Yeah,
color? Okay.
yeah,
Because I'm like, ah.
yeah. I'm not trying to clog
I'm
your
stupid.
machine.
No, I'm stupid. And I would have, because your bottle's so little. So I didn't like the only little airbrush colors I have like that are the Killer Zebra ones. All of my
Mhm.
airbrush colors are big with the big nozzle. So I'm like, is that gel color? Like I didn't know which one you were putting in.
You
So
don't have the little Amerimist ones that are like that come in the.
mm-mm.
Hmm. Okay, then we may have to do that on another episode
Maybe we just
because
have an airbrushing episode.
right? Yeah, the Go Go. This is it called Air Genie a Go Go? Huh.
Okay, I think I might need that.
There's no doubt. I mean, just holding it with no like free. You know how that stupid cord is on those because I have
Especially when
other
you're
airbrush
cleaning.
machines. Oh God. Yeah. I have not had one issue. And I've had this for about probably a year and a half.
And I love that even the airbrush gun doesn't have a big cord like
No.
to attach to
Yeah.
the compressor. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I take it apart and I'll show you this. It's so, I mean, I don't know. I like the fact that like cleanup is easy, storing it is easy. It's just easy.
Mm.
It's just
My
easy.
wallet is not thanking you, Beth, because I know after this episode I'm gonna buy it.
Y- You're welcome. Okay, what you got?
Okay.
Excuse
So
me.
my trick costs no money. Yay! Because I know I've
Yay.
gotten so many emails that are like, you guys are enablers. I spend so much on cutters now.
I know,
I'm
right?
like,
I know.
sorry, not
Sorry.
sorry.
All right.
So I'm a slow decorator. Even though, well, when I'm a procrastinator, which is 90% of the time, I'm very fast.
Right.
But when I have things planned out step by step, I'm very slow. So I always worry about my cookies drying out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might know this because they sell these little ceramic bears, or there's a trick where they're like, oh, put a piece of bread inside of your, with your cookies, but don't let them touch your cookies because then they'll get soggy. Well, instead of using a piece of bread, I take my sheet pan, and in the middle of it, I have a small bowl with a wet paper towel with a drop of vanilla extract on it because I am always so scared that my cookies are going to smell like bread. And if the moisture is
Oh.
in a bowl, you know that if you have cookies around it, even if it's touching the bowl, it's not going to get soggy. Gosh, I'm horrible at this, right? It's not going to get
Yeah.
soggy. I can
Right.
put a ton, squish as many cookies on this tray as I want to, and then I just put the lid on top of it. And then
Gotcha.
I leave it there overnight, and my cookies are soft and wonderful. And I'm not paranoid about like,
I've
you
never
know
thought
that
about it
feeling,
tasting like bread.
right? Well, sometimes it smells like bread, and I'm like,
Yeah, like yeasty. Like,
mhm. And
mm-hmm.
then I'm just that person that's like, have those cookies been sitting out one day too long? Like before
There's
I
a
package
difference. There's
them?
a
Yeah.
difference.
So I'm very like,
That's a good
because
idea.
I'm also the baker that has a little bit of brown on the bottom of my cookies because I really like that caramelized taste. But with the chewy mats, it's still a really soft cookie. So
Hmm.
I'm okay with it browning a little bit, where a lot of people I know don't like that. But because of that, I worry about my cookies getting a little bit harder as well. So
Yeah.
that's my trick number one to keeping soft
Uh,
cookies.
nice. But that was trick number two. That's
Oh,
trick number.
yes. That's
So trick number three. So here's the deal. You know when you get a new color, right? Yeah. You
I can
know,
feel this. I can feel this already.
I know, right?
It's hurting my heart because number one,
Yeah.
can I just say, for all of you people who are very like, you have to wear gloves for everything, you cannot wear gloves opening those things.
Okay,
Okay.
no.
It's impossible.
It is. Well, we're about to change your life because I don't know how I stumbled on this or when it happened, but I was like, it was definitely an aha moment because I hate like before you even get started good, you get this crap on your hands. It's BS. It's total BS, right? So I have a pair of tweezers and they're just the tweezers that are swooped at the bottom, right?
Like
Just
sprinkled tweezers
right,
or
right,
whatever.
right, right. And all I do is insert it into the top of the whatever you call it and pop this right off.
Shut up. Shut up.
And it's off. It is off and there's no mess. No mess. And then I just put it on a paper towel, pull it off, and it's done. And I didn't get a drop on my hand. What? Is that not crazy?
So, okay, when you put the tweezers in, were they separated? Like, were they the
Yes,
prongs
yes.
separated and then you
Yeah.
lift it? Okay.
Separated, put it in, lift it up, done. What? You're welcome.
Where has that been my life?
I'm
All
telling
my
you,
cookie
man.
life.
Right, right. I'm telling you. It's a good one. It's a good one.
And
Because I hate getting that crap on my hands. I hate it.
and like, okay, so the ones without the flap, that flap always just peels off, right? And the
I
ones
hate
without, you're sitting there trying to like lift all the tabs on the
How many
side.
times have you done it with your teeth? Like, Like, I'm not going to get it on my lip. And then Kenneth comes in. He's like, what happened? And there's this purple, like, what the hell, Beth?
There, I have not. So all you colorists out there,
Colorists.
I don't know what they're called. Okay. People who make bottles for colors.
Yeah,
This
you
is something
colorists.
you need to fix. But maybe you don't because Beth just came up with the solution. So
Yes, you colorist. Damn you. With your lids and your still tight tops. What the hell? Okay, trick number 4. Drum roll,
okay.
please.
Okay. So you guys know what this is, right?
It's an eco towel
It's
from
an eco
Borderlands.
towel.
What are you about to do? I'm worried.
Okay. So you guys know I'm a floral girl, right?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So I am going to take a bag and get it prepped for a floral really
Okay.
quick. And so when you do florals, these tip openings are really small, right?
Yes, yes.
How often do they clog up on you? So one thing
Use them a lot, but I know when I do use them, I mean, you lay them down for a minute, they get, because you're using stiff icing, right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
it
it
dries
takes
so
no
much
time.
faster. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So here we go, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then blop blop blop, I do my little
Was that you making a flower? Is
that
that
was
what
me
that?
making a flower. Blop blop blop.
Okay, okay.
So this, right? Oh, always crusts over.
Uh-huh.
And in Renee's class, Sweet Cheeks by Renee, she always taught us, hey, before you do your next flower, just take a scribe and take the crust out, basically, before you start the next one, because it's going to, clog it up, ruin your petals. Then you'll have to do it anyways. So just remember if it's been sitting there, before each flower, each petal, just take out the little crusties, right? Pain in the ass. Oh my God. I'm swearing again. I'm sorry. So what I do is I have my eco towel folded on a plate. And when
Okay, so you have taken the eco towel and gotten it wet and squeezed it out.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So it is barely damp, barely damp. Okay. Just like I cannot squeeze out anything from here. I fold it up. And then when I'm done with my piping bag, I just store it like this. And so it never gets crusty. The moisture from the towel makes it so it's always
That's
like
a
a
good
crush
one.
bag.
That's a
So
good
I
one.
will end up with like 4 different piping bags just laying right here. And I never
Tucked
have to
away
worry.
in the moist
Moist.
eco towel. That's a great use of the eco towel. I mean,
And
I love those things.
it saves me so much time because I'm not sitting there with a scribe just chunking out little
Mhm,
bits.
mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie. Every now and then I'll take my tip and I'll just like squeeze it out on the plate really quick because it might be a little watery. Like it might absorb too much of the moisture at the tip. So I'll just squeeze it, like a mustard bottle. And you're like,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, ugh. So
And it's a it's a bunch
yeah.
of water. Gross.
So every now and then I'll just squeeze some out, but this is a surefire way to not get the crusties. I'm
That's a
very
good one.
anti-crusty.
That's a good one. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, so that wraps up the tricks section of our tips, tricks, and trends. Say that 3 times real fast. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the tips, right?
Okay.
We got tips. Do we though? Do we? Okay. I know. I mean, practicing just saying that. I mean, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna say tits. There's no. I mean, I'm gonna screw this up and be like, we got tits, tricks, and what? Stop. So the fact that we got it. Tips, tricks, and trends. Yes. Okay. So tip number 1. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I can go first if you want, because you went first last time.
Yes, let's keep it fair, sunshine. You go, girl. You go.
Okay. Awkward pause. So, tip number one is might be one that you guys already know, but it's a question I get in my DMs probably at least once or twice every 2 weeks. Like once a week, right? And it's something I didn't realize people didn't know, but it's the fork holes in the cookie. I did not realize a lot of people don't do this, or if you're a newer baker, people don't know why we do this. Um, Basically, what I do is I'm a chiller. I don't know if you guys are chillers, but
I heard that about you.
I roll out my dough, I chill it, then I cut my dough out, I chill it
Oh
again,
God. Oh my God.
and then I bake it. But after I cut them out, I put fork holes in them. And what I feel like it does, I don't know if it actually works, you guys. It's just always worked for me. So just remember that with all these tricks and tips, might not work for everybody, but this is what works for me. I feel like it gives a more even bake. It brings in heat to the middle of your cookie. And I feel like it helps prevent spreading. I don't know if that's true because I also chill my dough and they say that prevents spreading. I also
Well,
use a chew mat.
you're just using multiple ways to
Yes,
ensure that that bad boy ain't spreading.
exactly. And what I will say, I don't know. Some people re-roll out their dough several times, some people don't, but I have never gotten bubbles. You know how after they bake, sometimes they bubble? Ever since I started using these holes, I don't get them anymore.
Hmm.
Might be a coincidence, maybe not. I don't know. But it's enough that I'm gonna keep putting these holes in them.
Girl, you do you because I'm not a hole poker. I don't poke holes in my cookies, but I mean, maybe my next tray I'm gonna start and just see how it makes me feel.
And you know what it is? I really Do you know how sometimes, even if your cookie's baked, it has that darker part in the middle that makes you question, is it fully baked or is it a little raw?
No, I don't have that, but okay.
I have that problem. So I don't get that discoloration anymore either. And I assume it's because the heat's getting to the middle of my cookie a little bit better. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
you're all
I
sure,
will.
Allison, doing
Well,
your voodoo
no,
in your head with fork holes.
you do you, baby. You do you. But no, I will say, I do get like, because I take my spatula and just smooth out the tops when they come
Mhm.
out because, and I do see that. So I do occasionally get a bubble. It's not often, but when
Yeah.
I do, I just smooth it out with my spatula. So if you aren't a hole poker and you get bubbles, use your spatula and smooth that
There's
out.
another tip for you guys. If you don't and you get
That
bubbles,
was just a bonus, right?
that's an
That was just a
extra for you.
bonus. But I think I will try the little hole poking thing, and I'll let you know how that works for me.
One thing I will say though,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
depending on what your consistency is, if you have a very loose consistency flood, fill in these holes when you're outlining so that when you actually flood it, you don't get air bubbles.
Oh, see, that's a bit much now. Now we got to do an extra step because we poked a hole.
Well,
I think not.
I use a thicker
Me
consistency when I
too. Me
flood,
too.
so I
Yeah.
don't have that problem. But one time, I think I was doing like wet on wet, and I'm like, where are all these bubbles coming from? And then I realized it's right over the holes, and I'm like, oh, I should have filled those first.
Yeah.
So if you
Your
are
heated up center is now absorbing all your. Uh-uh.
a 5 second flood girl, then make sure you fill this in. Does that sound weird? Oh.
No. Oh, you just had to go there. I told you this is a family show, Allison. My God. Okay,
Okay.
so my is this a tip? Yeah, my
Yeah.
tip. Since we're okay, since we're tip, this is tip two, right? Is in the same wheelhouse, in the same talking about cookies and blah, I mean on the pan or whatever. So when my cookies come out, obviously the Chewa mat is quite the game changer, and we've already talked about that. I think, like if you know, you know, and I hate that I didn't. implement it into my cookie business earlier than I did, you know. So, but when I take my cookies out, um, like I was saying, if they do have any air, you know, I'll air bubbles, I will smooth it out with the spatula. But then, um, if you've got the steam and you don't take them off, you can put the lid on to let it have a steam bath,
Oh.
right?
So this is
Um,
your version of this, basically.
yes, but I will say only do it in situations because 9 times out of 10, I take my cookies off of the pan and put them on a cooling rack. They literally get scooped off when they come out of the oven because I myself like to see a little caramelization on the bottom. So I don't want them to continue to cook. I
Mhm.
need them to stop baking because on the hot pan that has been in the oven at 350 degrees, it is going to continue to
Mhm.
cook. So I take them off the pan and put them on a cooling rack and let them cool, and then I move them. So it depends. It's situational. If I want them, you know, if I know it's just situational. Sometimes they get the steam bath, and 9 times out of 10, though, they go on the cooling rack.
Now, when you do the steam bathy thing, does it
Hmm.
make it more cakey?
A little bit,
Okay. A lot of people like that. I've
a
never
little
tried
bit.
it. All right.
All right. So for what is this? Tip number three?
Tip number
Thrice?
3. It is
Yes.
a literal tip. So,
Ah, look at you. Okay, okay.
again, bringing in those florals, right? So, these are Korean piping tips.
Ah, oh, they're
They're
tiny.
really skinny. So the first person I learned about these from was Beth from the Batch Sweets. And then Kristen from Kristen's Cookies uses them as well. They're a game changer, you guys. Like, I get messages all the time like, how do you get your petals so skinny and so like frilly on the ends? It's these. So, let's see. Let's compare, shall we? By the way, this like whole episode is like a best of the zest, by the way. If
Right?
you do not have a tip holder, you need one. I got this one from Evil Cake Genius. I have seriously like 4 of them. Okay. But it's so much better than just having them rolling all around and you can just stack them up. It's wonderful. Yeah, I highly recommend it. But here is a regular petal tip. Can you kind of see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Here is a Korean one. Whoops. Right next to it.
Oh my. Yes. A lot
Yeah.
thinner.
You can barely see it because it's so thin. Um, let's see. Let's try this one. This one's a regular American like gem curved petal tip.
Oh
This is
my
your Korean one.
gosh. Yeah, that's a very big difference.
Yeah. And you can change these. And a lot of people do. They just take like needle nose pliers and
Mhm.
squish it a little bit. So if you don't, but you can just get these off of sometimes Amazon, but Cakraft sells these and you don't have to go straight to Korea for them. So the shipping is a lot faster than if you get them from a Korean manufacturer. Um, and you know what I'm gonna do for my next full tutorial cookie thing on Patreon? I will use these for you so you can
Cool.
see the difference. And I will do 2 different florals, one using the American equivalent to this.
Yay. That's cool.
So,
Look at you.
and they're
Nice.
inexpensive. They're not very expensive at all. So,
Huh. Okay, so now are we ready for tip number four?
yeah.
Tip number four, I'm not going to demonstrate. I'm just going to tell you about it because it would be a hot mess. So when I get ready to make my cookies, I start with butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla, almond, and salt. Okay.
Okay.
and I put them all together. All of that goes together.
All at once?
All at one time. All at one time. My butter is hard straight out of the refrigerator. I do not like it more room temp. I don't even like it. I like it cold out of the refrigerator. It's the craziest thing. I know it works for me. Um, and my egg is cold straight out of the refrigerator. Because a lot of people like to let their eggs sit for a minute. Not me. I'm straight out of the fridge and I'm everything in the bowl
Really
except for the flour.
opposite.
Everything in the bowl. But when I get everything in the bowl, I mix it for literally 6 to 7 minutes. When it gets done, it is fluffy, it is creamy, and it is a high yellow, like almost white. It is delicious, and I could eat it by the spoonful just like that.
So my question is how? Like, doesn't it just end up
How?
going like and not
But
mixing? Like, how does
okay,
it actually incorporate? Like, what? Okay, number one, what kind of mixer do you have? What kind of mixer?
it's just a KitchenAid.
And it's strong enough to do.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Bessie is she's a strong girl. She's a hoss. So yeah, at first the butter is because I mean I throw the two sticks in like I don't chop them up. I don't. They're cold hard two sticks of butter in the bowl, and for the first and maybe I will do just an example of it on Patreon just because so people can see because everybody that I tell this to are
It's
like
like blowing my mind. Like, how does it? It's almost
they're
like
like
airbrush.
no
How does
Beth,
that work?
that's not how that works, and I'm like no, that's how that works. Um, And creaming that for 6 to 7 minutes, like it makes the best cookie. I'm telling you, it is the craziest thing. Like if you're not literally incorporate, and at first the butter, it is like a washing machine that you've just put your
With
tennis
shoes
shoes
in,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But after like 2 minutes, it's breaking it down, and then after 7 minutes, I'm telling you, it is a fluffy cloud of
Hmm.
goodness.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna have to try that because you
Hmm.
know I'm experimenting with different
Yes.
recipes and stuff right now.
Mhm.
Because I am a room temperature girl. All my butter's at room temperature, my egg is at room temperature, everything's room temperature. So this is just like, no, what are you doing? And just so you guys know, not everything works because I know that like there have been posts I've seen out there that have talked about butter and people have very strong feelings about butter.
Mhm.
So don't come at us. Everyone's different. What works for
Mhm.
us might not work for you. Even me and Beth are very different. She's
Yeah,
cold
yeah.
and I'm room temperature. So,
And I've had a lot of people come at me about because I use Carrie's Gold. Like I use
Mm,
the good stuff. And they're like, "Oh no, it's going to spread." I don't have those
really?
issues. Yes. And I
Yeah.
it doesn't spread with me.
Even I've had people come at me because I use salted butter.
I do
They're
too.
just like, how can you? I'm like, I like it.
I do too. It's good.
My customers don't complain, so huh. So it's all about what works for you. Um, so yeah, like I
And I
said,
feel
don't come
like
at
that's
us.
part of your journey, just like
Hmm.
anything else, is figuring out the baking process is a whole thing. Figuring out the icing, once you figure that out, you're golden. Like if your
Yeah.
cookies can taste good and you can figure out that icing consistency, you're good.
Yeah. And again, it's kind of like airbrushes or poking fork holes, and everyone's going to have a different process on how they do it. So this is just how we do it. And you might be like, huh, I'm going to try that. So-
Yeah. And it may work for you, it may not. You may be like, you two idiots have lost your mind. Like, this is not how I'm doing it. And that's okay too. That's okay too.
and if you
That's just
want,
how
put
we
in
do
the
it.
comments what you do, and maybe we'll try your method and try to see, do a comparison.
Yeah. Okay. So that wraps up the tips and the tricks of the tips, tricks, and trends episode, Baker's Dozen. So now the trends. Da da da
Da, da,
da.
da, da, da. And if you guys like this, let us know. We will do it every season for you.
Yeah, yeah. Because and if you see something that you think is trending, let us
Yeah.
know.
And the thing is, we are in like for the news. I don't know if you guys know this, but for for the news, we have to be in everybody's stories. We need to be looking at every cutter shop so we see just a
A lot of
barrage,
what's
like
going on.
yeah. And these are the things that we've been seeing a lot of repeats of. So
So,
that's
trend number one that we see is going on is obviously the groovy.
everyone probably sees that one.
Everything is groovy. I mean, we have taken a step right back into the 70s, and I don't, I'm okay with we've lived it twice
We've
now.
lived it
Yeah,
like
like, because didn't it come back for a minute before now in the
in the 90s.
God?
Remember? Everyone was wearing the
Yes.
peasant tops and
And the
like the
bell bottom and the mushrooms. Which I mean, and they're cute, and
Mhm.
I like the writing, but like we need a new one.
Yeah.
We need a new one.
And
But
it does. Things come back like every 20 years. You had the
yes,
70s, 90s.
right. Yes. And I know, and to think the 70s, that's been a minute.
We're not old at all.
Mm, that was a hot minute ago. But I do like it. And I know you do too, but it's like we've been there, done that,
Mhm.
got that t-shirt. Let's
I will say I do like the smiley faces.
Yes, the smiley
Those I'm
faces are
like,
cute.
oh, those just make me happy. But like, and you can go to I'm going to tell you, you can go to any cutter shop and you will see groovy alphabets, groovy nurses, groovy grad sets. They are everywhere. So we don't
Smiley
have to
faces for
yeah.
days.
Well, smiley face, this is a circle. You can
I'm talking about they've put a cape on a smiley. I mean, it put anything on a smiley face and it's there. It's groovy. It's a cape, it's a cap, it's a cap and gown, it's a name something, a nurse hat on a smiley face. I mean, they've got groovy everything.
yeah. And I'm
Everything.
not going to say you couldn't see this coming because last year there were VW vans everywhere or buses. That's what they're
Mm-hmm.
called, right? Buses.
Mm-hmm. The lava
So you could,
lamps.
yep. So you could see this evolving to what we are at now, where it's just full force.
Yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely. So, trend number two, what do you got?
Pineapples.
Right?
So every summer there's a fruit, right? A couple years ago it was everything's was lemons and Greek tiles and everything. And then last year it was all strawberries. I've been seeing pineapples everywhere.
Yes. What about your kids? Are your kids obsessed with the pineapple? Like Bailey came in the other day and had on a pineapple on his little hat. I'm like, is that a pineapple? He's like, yeah. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. My kid
What?
is 10 years old. Everything's pineapple. And I'm just like, why?
It's
You
the
don't even
pineapple, which I'm okay. I'm not mad at the pineapple. I like a
no.
pineapple. Yeah,
But she
I
doesn't
like a
even eat
pineapple.
pineapples, but all of her class are obsessed with them. And if you start looking a lot of and this has been forever. Forever. So my pre-mom days, I was in the apparel industry and pineapples were really big, like golden pine. It's like a sign of luxury, you know? And you'll see like Kate Spade has a pineapple purse right now. There are just pineapples everywhere in apparel, like you said, hats, just everywhere. And so it's obviously going to leach into the cookie industry, you
Right.
know.
Well, and pineapple. Okay, so let me tell you a funny story real quick about the pineapple. So my dad, who is a hot mess, by the way, God rest his sweet soul, love you people, um, had so pineapple is a sign of welcome in
Mhm.
Hawaii. Is it in Hawaii? Well, when we would go stay at my dad's house in the guest bedroom, there was this gorgeous pineapple that sat on the nightstand next to the bed, right? It's beautiful, like you golden pineapple or whatever. Well, if you ever woke up and it was gone, my that meant it was time, like you were starting to smell like fish. It's time to go.
You've worn out your welcome.
You have welcome is gone. Pineapple's been pulled. Pack it and go on back now without having to say and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my God. Like, Daddy, what is that? He's like, yep, it's starting to smell like fish. Y'all got to go.
You're like, I love you too.
So I've been dealing with the pineapple for quite some time. But yeah, I do like the pineapple. I'm okay with the pineapple.
Yeah,
It's good.
I don't. It's newer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit tired of seeing strawberries.
All right. I like a good strawberry too now.
Yeah.
But something that is newer that I've seen is, and this is the third trend that we've seen, is the blue florals, like blue. Really not just florals, but blue,
Blue everything.
just the
Yeah.
the hues, different hues of blues. And I mean, I've gotten them as request in my sets, like they're everywhere.
And it's not just the light blues, it's
Yeah.
the bright ones. Like
Hmm.
Pantone, one of Pantone's colors for the summer is a skydive blue.
Hmm.
It's like, it's
Yeah.
really blue.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
almost a French blue that's like a little bit purpley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been seeing that everywhere.
But
And
they're pretty. I'm okay with this one. It's beautiful. I like it. I like it. And I like the darker, the grayer looking blues too.
mhm, the
Those are pretty.
Wedgwood.
Yeah.
I will put a whole bottle of Wedgwood in something. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty.
But you're just straight out of the bottle kind of gal,
I
though.
am.
It's just Wedgwood. I like to mix several colors to get to that point, and oh my God.
No, Wedgwood is perfect. It doesn't need any help. It's just perfect.
I got you, girl. I got you. Okay, so our last trend.
Which I'm sure you guys have all seen as well.
Oh gosh, but
Is
this one's probably my favorite.
and it's not going away. It's
No,
not going away.
and I'm okay with it. We're calling it vintage countryside, like your Bridgerton,
Your tea
your
parties.
yes, that elegant like vintage looking um
If you
countryside.
need an example of this, go to Sweet Am's.
Right.
All her color, like her last book, the color scheme, the wet on wet, the filigree, it's all there. Or
Yeah.
even when
Cookie
you,
virtuoso. Oh my God.
mm, yes.
Hmm.
And when, or a Pinar, like
Yeah, Pinar.
when you have that like Parisian kind of soft floral look, and you're just like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, that's just so pretty. It's the delicate, frilly, pretty look, basically.
Frilly, prilly, frilly, frilly. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's that frilly look, and I like it. I like it, and the that just whole Bridgerton, like watching. I mean, who doesn't love that?
Yeah. The eyelets, the lace,
Hmm.
floral, but not like floral in your face,
Yeah,
you know?
it's just soft. Yeah,
hmm
I like it. I like it a lot.
So
Yes.
there are our four trends.
So that
Like,
gives us that brings us to hopefully
no,
did
I
y'all
was
see
gonna
that?
say, yeah. So Baker's dozen is 13.
Right. So that's what I was just about to say when she
Wait a second.
that brings us to 12. So you got four tips, you got four tricks, and you got four trends. So the baker's dozen is obviously 13. So I do have something that is I don't know what we're going to call it. It's just, it is what it is. A suggestion. Tips, tricks, trends, and a suggestion. Um, so if you're not a huge baker, if you're a huge baker and you bake 20, so Sugars by Leah, this is not for you. Because that woman bakes 25 to 30 dozen a week. Okay, we're not doing that. But if you're on the smaller side and you're looking for some counter space and you need a little extra room, um, actually Jessica cut it out, my daughter, showed me this, and it is quite the game changer on the small scale of things. So
Okay.
I think it's a paper rack or organizer for like folders or
Oh,
paper.
for like
Um,
cardstock maybe?
maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this here. Oh God. So this rack, and it's collapsible. So I'm gonna
Okay.
show you something. Okay, so here's the rack. It holds one, two, three, four, five, six half sheet cookie pans, y'all. So it can sit on the counter and it can hold six half sheet cookie pans. It is
Hmm.
a game changer, but I'm going to show you something. So when I put it down, hold please. Um, really quick and real easy it breaks down. So when you're done, like I'm going to show you real quick because it really doesn't take but like just a second. Um, it just breaks down and it stores like really easy. So when you're done, obviously you're not going to because like me, I'm in such a tiny kitchen. I can't leave it up 24/7. But it's good to have while I'm baking. Um and hold please. One last one.
That looks like a super more affordable way than a baker's wrap.
From Webstaurant. Yes. So
Yeah.
this little guy costs $20. And yeah, see, so this back piece, the main piece,
Oh,
it just folds and literally you can store this under the cabinet anywhere. It's easy, you know what I mean? And I just knocked this out of place. Hold on. So it's easy and it just voila. Isn't that crazy?
and that's a lot smaller than my Webstraunt baker's wrap that I have to roll into a closet or something to get it out of the
Right.
way.
And I don't have room for that. I mean, and I need you can go up. I don't have the real estate to go out, you know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
leave something that's going to be standing, you know what I mean? So this works great because 6 pans at a time and then you can collapse it, break it
Yeah.
down. And so I will obviously everything that we've used or talked about or whatever, I'll link in the description.
Mhm.
And this is a good one.
And again, there are some things like blue florals with Korean piping tips that we will put on Patreon.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, this is good stuff. Woohoo! Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And if you guys have any tips or tricks that you want us to share with everybody, let us know. And or if you see any trends. And again, if you like this episode, let us know and we will go ahead and do it every season for you. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
We just want to thank you all for coming and hanging out with us today. And we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Sam at Sam's Cookie University, Heather and Corey with the Sugar Marketing Group, and Shelly at Pastry Shells. Thanks you guys so much. We truly appreciate you.
And we want to thank all of you guys for watching and subscribing to us.
Yep.
And don't forget, sometimes in this cookie life, sometimes we crumble,
Sometimes we burn.
but we always rise up. We'll see you later.